This month's move is the jab. The jab is a lost art. If you don't jab, you don't have anything. It sets up combinations. It's great for your movement. It's to be used in MMA, kickboxing, boxing. If you don't have it, you ain't got nothing. And what we're going to show you here is how to use it and how to lead up to combinations with movement.
Today we're working on the jab, the footwork that goes with it, and the reason for the footwork and the jab. So, starting with your jab, you're going to come in with your left foot, a short step. This is where you can close your distance. Whenever you're fighting an opponent, you don't want to stay within their punching distance until it's time to fight them. So you use a short step to step in to take the jab. After you take your short step, you're going to throw your shoulders and your hips. That's where your power comes from. And extend your arm, twisting it at the end in the punch. Okay. Now, did you get the punch done? You want to get out of the way afterwards. If it's going to be a single jab, you don't want to stand in front of your opponent the whole time. You're just doing it to judge your distance. So you're going to step in and you step out. A lot of the footwork that comes with the jab is you're always on your toes, you're always moving. And you need to be very agile to throw your body weight for the power. So when you're going, you're going to step in, it's real quick. Okay? You get your whole body moving forward.
Okay, the important thing is when working the jab is knowing the difference between orthodox and left-handed fighter. With Justin throwing the jab out with his left hand, as you will see, he would demonstrate. The important thing for Justin would be to do is after his block is to step over to his right, so he's out of the way. So he would jab, step to the right. Most of the time you would do that at the same time. So you would jab and step to the right and out of the way. Now if he jabbed and stepped to the left, he would be going into the second weapon, which would be Dustin's punch. Okay, so what Dustin will demonstrate here is throwing the jab and the punch, and what would happen if you step in front of the opponent. Okay? Boom, he would get hit. Now what he'll do is demonstrate when he throws the jab and the punch, how by stepping and angulating out of the way, he'll get out of the way of the punch. By doing this, by him stepping out of the way too, it creates the movement of the other fighter to have to turn, change his game plan so he can counter back in. Very important. Jabbing is a lost art.
If you're throwing more than a single jab, you're always going to use different footwork. So if we're going to go a double jab, you're going to move in one time. Now depending on what your opponent does, if he moves back, you can move in a second time, or if you're fast enough, you don't have to before he gets away. So the whole body movement here is step. You bring your back leg forward because you don't want to get your stance too far out. So it's going to be step, step. Okay? Generally, you want to go away from the power hand unless you're engaging a fight. Okay? If you engage the fight, you want to come towards his face to get to him. If you are fighting and you don't want to go toe-to-toe, you always go away from your opponent's power hand. Okay? So we're going to come jab, go. We're going to come out, away. One more time. Okay, if you notice, every time Justin hits, both of his feet are working, his knees are staying bent. In kickboxing, you don't ever want to keep a straight leg or your foot flat on the ground because you take a risk of breaking your leg if you get kicked and then you're off balance. If you ever have a straight leg or your feet are flat on the ground, you have nowhere to go. You always stay on your toes. So if I get hit, I have something to go back to.
What we'll do here is Dustin will throw a triple jab and Justin will move, and then Justin will return with a double jab and he will move. Okay? The important thing about the jab is that it sets up everything. It sets up combination, it can confuse your opponent, and it leads to another play of working on your chess game with the fighter in the ring.